This will be the first time she captains here at Kensington Oval, so a special evening for her, symbolic, no doubt. And there we have the English team making their way out. It's a wonderful time for women's sport and particularly women's cricket. As we see a fresh, young English side, you're going to see a lot of players this evening you may not have seen so often. Get to know some teams. It's a young, burgeoning team building their strength ahead of both the inaugural Under-19 World Cup, which will happen in January in South Africa, and of course the women's ICC Women's T20 World Cup in February in South Africa. We had the toss a little earlier. England won the toss and chose to bat, and we're going to have the anthems now as the teams line up here on the Kensington Oval pitch.
A really special moment for Hayley Matthews. You mentioned just the first game on home soil as captain of West Indies team. So I'm just hoping that that brings, much more family and support out.
Up next, you will have the anthem of Great Britain, the United Kingdom, God Save the King. Our final anthem, the anthem of the West Indies cricket team.
All right, there we have it. All the officialdom out the way. We have the Barbados national anthem as well as the United Kingdom, and then, of course, the West Indies anthem ahead of this second T20 international between West Indies and England. Stacey Ann, that always gets me roused, gets me excited, that anthem. Can the Windies women do something here? Can they use this momentum of a new venue to turn around their fortunes?
I think from a West Indies perspective, just going out there and putting their best effort and hopefully winning this one could really just change their attitudes as well. Because they've lost the ODI series and they're already down one in this T20 series. Just hope that a change in venue would also bring a change in mindset. As we see the team just gets into their huddle.
Yeah, and England, of course, a team on the rise, aren't they? Managing very well the use of their older, more experienced players and this new generation that is coming through very beautifully, brightly for England. So the West Indies have had their hands full.
Yeah, they've used that seniority as well as those junior players quite nicely, England. And just having that camaraderie and those younger players learning kind of on the job as well. As you see skipper Heather Knight just getting in gear, but again they'll expect a good start from Dunkley and Danny Wyatt.
Yeah, it's been a great return for Heather Knight, who was out for a few months with injury, and she's back and fully fit and just dominating here in the Caribbean, winning a lot of tosses as well. She won the toss again tonight. Has only lost one toss, I think. Is that right, Stacey Ann King?
Yeah, correct. She seemed to just like the Caribbean pitches.
That is life and that is cricket. When it goes your way, it all goes your way. But it's even Stevens right now as we see the opening batters making their way out. It is a changed team tonight as compared to the first T20 international.
Yeah, England this time around opting to rest Nat Siver, Amy Jones and Sophie Eccleston. You know, Nat Siver, well, she's been the glue to England's batting. So a change here for England. You see Lauren Wilfield-Hill comes in as well as wicket-keeper.
Off?
And a few other opportunities as well. Alice Davidson Richards.
That's all.
And Maya Bouchier.
Right, I'm coming over to you. That's middle.
Right, so some of the big guns resting tonight might be another opportunity, another little bit of momentum the West Indies can raise for this moment for Black Lives Matter. So crucial, so vitally important as we continue to use our sport to increase equity throughout the world for all people of color. And we just saw Morocco become the first African nation to make it to an FIFA World Cup semi-final. So that was good news, but France has sent them home. We now have two finalists for the FIFA World Cup. It'll be Argentina versus the defending champions. But right now, first ball from the captain. Oh, misfield to start. Not ideal. Oh, there's a good running as well. Two quick runs.
Yeah, Shemaine Campbell, that backward point position. And West Indies, they come into this match unchanged. And so young Janaba Joseph, well, she comes in for her second in T20 International.
Got to be very keen, very sharp. From the get-go here.
You see a number of players with those white rags just tucked in and behind their trousers.
Center.
There was a bit of a drizzle earlier, just before play started.
Yeah, we've had a bit of rain here in Barbados in the last 24, 48 hours. Dangerous. Sophia Dunkley and Danny Wyatt out there opening for England.
Yeah, this is how Dunkley starts. She starts really slow, just has a good look at what's happening, what the pitch is doing, and then she advances. Yeah, Haley seems to be getting some sharp turn on this pitch.
Few spectators have come in right now in the 3W stand. That's well struck. That's down the ground. They'll pick up a couple here as well. Just a single.
I already like the effort that I'm seeing from Haley Matthews. She knows that it's her first game at home. Her family and friends are probably here, so she wants to impress as well as she wants a win.
Return, girls.
That's the end of the over. England 5 without loss. Chanel Henry opening the bowling with her captain. Danny Wyatt on strike. That's cut away nicely but stopped. They're going to have to be very sharp in the field. You mentioned this, Stacey Ann King. Bowling their balls on a good line, being as sharp as you can in the field, controlling what you can control, the controllables.
Yeah, and if they remember, in that first T20, the 2 wickets that went for England were via the run-out route.
Well stopped again. Vocal encouragement from Chanel Henry. They're quite vocal out there this evening, actually, the West Indies women.
It's good to see them smiling and just celebrating each other.
That's well struck. There is a fielder. So it will just be the single.
I think this is much better of a start bowling wise for West Indies. At least bowlers are bowling for where there are more fielders. So they've worked out where they want batters to score on that offside.
One fielder outside the circle in the offside and the other one at long on. Oh, it's nicely cut as well. Good stop. Should just be the single. This is what they'll need to do. They'll need to stop the boundaries early.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Sophia Dunkley, well, she realized that Chanel Henry does not have a deep turn. And so opting to use that cut shot option. But well done from Afi Fletcher, who's in that backward point region.
Oh, it's gone straight to her and put down. Just in the discussion about how sharp they're going to have to be in the field. Looks like it's hurt her. Shada Williams, she'll be very disappointed. That went directly into her hands. Stacey Ann King.
Yeah, and this is almost a carbon copy because in that first match, Sophia Dunkley, well, she was put down at over 1.3. And same player, Rashada Williams, different bowler as well. Driven firmly from Danny Wyatt.
And this one cut up and over. That will run away though. This will be the first boundary of the English innings.
Yeah, Wyatt seeing again that there is no third and given a bit of width. Opting to go up and under. At the end of 2 overs, England 11 without loss.
So Rashida Williams put down Danny Wyatt on the penultimate ball of that last over. Made to pay the boundary next ball. Hayley Matthews now. It's good running, just dropping into space.
I just think probably Karishma Ramharak, who was the fielder, could get a bit closer because she has cover. She have a deep mid-wicket. So she can get a bit closer and try to restrict that single.
It's been quite a year for Hayley Matthews. Captaining the Barbados side at the Commonwealth Games, becoming the West Indies women's captain, and of course her own individual game, soaring. Big appeal. Not interested.
A release shot from Danny Wyatt. Can't resist but to play into that leg side. Actually, boundaries are quite big as well.
Yeah, she'll want to play into the leg side as well with that wind, won't she, Stacey Ann King? If you're looking at the screen, the wind blows very strongly east to west here in Barbados, northeast trade winds, and lots of wind here this evening. When we were out there earlier, felt quite strong.
Yeah, this was that attempted slug sweep from Danny Wyatt.
A bit of a dance. Still picking up the singles very nicely, this opening pair.
Yeah, that's one thing they've done really well, the English batters. They've used their feet, even though the wicketkeeper is up.
And another very good run there. That's 15 for none after 2. After 3. Chanel Henry again. Oh, it's a wide ball. Hayley Matthews, the captain, will be expecting a lot from Chanel Henry. Has a fair amount of experience now, opening the bowling as well with her captain. Big shouts of catch it, just drops into space. Didn't get hold of that. Danny, she knows it.
And you see an automatic change in feel as well. Chanel Henry opting to have that deep third fielder.
Big swing and a miss. That's better. From a West Indies perspective.
Sophia Dunkley, she saw that there's some width and was opting to give it a big hike. Wicketkeeper Kaisia Knight, well, opting to come up to the stumps for Sophia Dunkley.
On this one, nowhere near the stumps. That's a full maximum, 6 down the ground. Sophia Dunkley doing what Sophia Dunkley does.
Now, you actually thought that wicketkeeper coming up would have kept her in her crease and restrict her from playing that shot, but gets a good connection, Sophia Dunkley. Didn't have much to do. Given width, given room, going for a maximum.
Sweet shot over long off.
Come on.
Both these opening batters, Sophia Dunkley and Danny White, very dangerous. Got to take your opportunities when they come.
What I like about Sophia Dunkley's batting is she stays really low. She gets really low and has a look. And when she realizes that there's room to play in her strengths, she's not afraid to go.
Yeah, great batter, good athlete, and definitely sort of fearsome, without fear, like this new look English side. Backs herself, that's beautifully driven down the ground, splits the fielders. Carrie-Anne Fraser, yeah, wonderful, stops it, chased it all the way. Saves a couple of runs for her side.
A good chase and good backup from Shabika Gajnabi as well. But the timing from Danny Wyatt, absolutely beautiful.
It's a good comeback from Chanel Henry. And that's the over. England 26 without loss. Karishma Ramarak, a 27-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago. With the ball now. She's back from injury. Oh, it was a good ball. Not picked up by Kaisia Knight, and now a chase. Just a couple of runs.
Very well bowled from Karishma Ramharak. Good start. Just wonder if Sophia Dunkley, just the movement, if it threw off Kaisia Knight, because she did advance, Sophia Dunkley.
That's well bowled. Very few dot balls so far for England, so that would be a welcome sign for the West Indies fans.
The first match, Karishma Ramharak, she came into bowl in the 10th over, so a good change here.
A little bit of a half-hearted appeal. Yeah, there were many questions after the game about why Haley had not used her in the power play. Stacey Yankee.
Not really sure because she opted to use Cherry and Fraser, opted to use more pace.
Off.
But a different pitch, a different venue. Let's hope that it brings different results.
Real diminutive figure, Danny Wyatt, but so very powerful, times the ball well. This is a good over so far from Ramarak.
Yeah, I like what I see. She's attacking the stumps, not giving too much room. So literally she is saying to them, if you want to hit me, you've got to take that risk.
So said, so done, risks taken, says Danny Wyatt. It won't get to the boundary, but lofted nicely into the offside and another couple of runs for the English.
Yeah, that's something they spoke about, the English, just being fearless about their cricket, especially knowing that there's a T20 World Cup next year. And they've done that to exception.
Yeah, they've also obviously been having a very good time here in the Caribbean, been very dominant in both the ODI series and winning the first T20I. So that often gives you a lot of courage, a lot of belief, a lot of what for. Oh, it's full toss. It's timed very beautifully. I don't think they'll hold on to that. 4 to end what was a very good over. And after 5, England at 35 without loss.
Another positive start for the English. The dominance in the West Indies continues. Doesn't matter who has been in positions, they've found a way to get results and get wins. Second best T20 international side in the world, this England unit, led by Heather Knight. Happy to have her back as captain for this series and beyond. Hayley Matthews has had to think. Already seen the two options. Started the innings well with herself and Chanel Henry. Entering the change, Afi Fletcher, the leg spin option into the attack. And alongside me, Roland Butcher, former England batsman. Good evening to you, Roland.
Yeah, Nikhil, good evening to you, and great to see international cricket back in Barbados. And great opportunity here for the West Indies ladies to try and get one over the English.
Leg spin of Afi Fletcher into the attack, and she was very good in that one international series, but then missed the final ODI and also missed the first T20 international. But she has been a massive wicket-taking option for Hayley Matthews to go to. Doesn't bowl very often inside the power play though, so interesting move.
Yeah, I think it's probably forced a little bit by the start that the English have had so far.
Straight away, making an impact. Afi Fletcher just seemed to slide on. Much quicker delivery and beating Danny Wyatt for pace. Important wicket for the West Indies.
Yeah, it's a total misjudgment of length there by Wyatt, really giving herself room. And the ball just really skidded on this good batting surface here at Kensington Oval. Nikhil, this pitch here being used today is the one that was New Zealand chased 387 on and got. So it was, had a look at it earlier on, it's a little bit cracked across, but it's very hard. I think the groundsman would have liked it to be less hard, but it's definitely a good batting pitch.
Afi Fletcher getting the wicket of Danny Wyatt for 20, a run about 20, 36 for 1.
introduction of the leg spinner certainly doing the trick. And as you know, England will continue to play positively. That's the new way they play the game, both male and female. It's as they say, a fearless brand of cricket. Believing that in the end it will all work out.
She was a huge miss in that first T20 international because of deliveries like this. Much quicker, able to vary the pace. And in a game where the West Indies failed, the bowlers that is, failed to actually get a wicket. Both wickets they took of the English were via the run-out mode. So to see Afi Fletcher getting a wicket in her first 2 deliveries, I think will bring a lot of confidence not only to her, but the remainder of this West Indies attack.
A slip being put in place, so that's a nice positive sign at the fall of that wicket.
Almost chopped it on. Lauren Winfield Hill coming at number 3. Big series for her as well. First return to this English T20 international side since 2020 in that World Cup.
Yes, had a good summer. Should be brimming with confidence, having won the quickly taken single. Brings Dunkley back onto strike.
Fletcher bowled well in that last T20 international series for the West Indies against New Zealand. Picked up 5 wickets and caused problems, especially for the top order of New Zealand. Helped them fight in that series, the West Indies, but different challenge now against this English batting lineup that will come at her. Well fielded in the end, saved a certain boundary.
Yeah, nicely cut away, but as you said, good combination there at backward point, just diving away. It certainly saved the boundary. As you know, it's all the way down the hill, down towards the dugouts, and nice piece of fielding.
Quick single, have to hurry. Still safely in the end. Interesting choice there from Winfield Hill, straight away using her feet, because Afi Fletcher operating with both mid-on and mid-off in the circle, but it ends the power play. A much improved start from the West Indies from that last T20 international, conceding the 39 runs, yes, but taking that crucial wicket of Danny White.
Yeah, they'd be quite pleased with the start, and as you said, more importantly, breaking that opening partnership. Still a long way to go, but first hurdle they've got over, and really from here on in, they need to just try and consolidate, because the English will keep coming, and they'll be positive all the way. And Dunkley's now faced some 14 balls for her 16, so she hasn't been on fire at the moment.
Off.
Even with the absences of Anat Siva, Amy Jones, 2 very important batters to this English lineup. Still look down that list: Heather Knight, Maya Boucher, even Alison David Richards, all very capable with the bat in hand. Will test their depth though, something that hasn't been tested in the series. That one international series, because of Nat Siva getting those consistent runs, Heather Knight and even Amy Jones chipping in, it was really the top order that did the majority of the weightlifting. But in a game like this, where you miss a couple of those experienced members, that lower order may have to contribute probably more significantly.
Absolutely, but it gives the opportunity to those people coming into the side, really a much needed opportunity. And it really tests the strength of your squad. As you know, a team is really as good as its bench. The first 11, if you've only got 11, invariably at some point you come into a bad spell.
I tell you, look at that bench of England, and you see Sophie Eccleston, top 3 white ball bowler in both formats. You see Nat Siva, who was just player of the series in the one international format. It's a pretty good bench, Roland.
Well, it should be. I mean, these girls are full-time professionals. I mean, they play a lot of cricket, a lot of international cricket, home and away. They get the best of everything. So really, they should be.
I know it's probably rest as to why Nat Silva and Eccleston have been left out, but Heather Knight throughout this series, even coming into it, has spoken about competition for places and what having those young members of the squad and what that creates. So definitely think she will be very impressed if they can still get a win playing with a team that is weakened from the more experienced players.
Yes, I mean, obviously they want to win the game, but at the same time you want to see what you've got for the future. You know, and if those young players can put a bit of pressure on the more established players, that makes your team even stronger.
Good over in the context of things from Karishma Ramarak. Just the 4 runs from it, 43 for 1.
Yes, and at this stage I think West Indies should be quite happy that the score hasn't got away from them. I haven't seen a great deal on this pitch to suggest that. It's a pitch that the bowlers will command. So at this stage, after 7 overs, should be very, very happy with this current situation.
Seen Sherry-Ann Fraser into the attack as yet, and she has, both in the one international series and in that first T20 international, she bowled that new ball. So clearly they've identified, probably with Afi Fletcher coming back in, that they can maybe save her because she has those variations for the back end of the innings. Last 5 overs, which is so important in terms of finishing the innings off.
Very important to have a member of your bowling unit who can bowl at the death, because that's the point where the batsmen are really going after you. Full delivery there. It's a little bit on the wide side, but nicely taken by the keeper.
In that last game, Sherry-Ann Fraser bowled the 5th and the 7th over. Hasn't come into the attack yet after just about 8. To play the switch hit Sophia Dunkley.
Yes, and that's just a sign of the pressure that is building on Dunkley. She hasn't been able to get away with striking the ball, so she's taken a bit of a risk going for that reverse sweep. And that's the more traditional white. And, she will get 2.
She's just 20 from 21 deliveries, but it's a similar start to what she had in that first T20 international, where it just seemed like she was very comfortable. Didn't make them really have to work for a wicket, because trying to just push things on and increase in terms of the urgency, and was run out for 25. But a similar start here. She would have seen Danny Wyatt, her partner, get a 50 in the last game. Now Wyatt has been dismissed, so the perfect opportunity for her.
Yes, I mean, she's had a good summer, Dunkley. Got back into the team, really excelled. I think she's got 100 in the test match during the summer as well, so she's been in excellent form, and certainly for her club side as well, she was in good form.
Quicker from Afi Fletcher. Looks for 2, but just be 1. Just on Sophia Dunkley, Roland. When she's come back into the squad, they've tried this new approach where they're sending her at the top of the order. 8 times she's opened the batting and averaging over 30 with a strike rate of 135. That has worked so well for her.
Well, it has. She's someone that I know very well, and last summer I had a long conversation with her. Come back.
Ball by Afi Fletcher. All about the length. Dot to end the over. 46 for 1. But on Dunkley,
that she was batting down the order and really playing a big part. And you know, I had a long conversation with her, really telling her that she's gonna really make her way in this England team. She's got to find a way to get up the order, and then when she gets that opportunity to score heavily, and that opportunity presented itself, and she's taken it with both hands. And as you see now in the white ball format, she's opening the batting, and batting fairly high in the test as well. So things are going nicely for her.
Will be Hayley Matthews back into the attack. Single. It's been interesting the way that this formula and almost mantra of this England team has changed since John Lewis has come in, because a lot of things changed. Nat Siva used to bat in 5 and 6. She's come up the order to bat at 4 and even 3 sometimes. Heather Knight has gone down the order. So John Lewis has restructured things to play the brand of cricket that he's looking for, and it's worked for them so far.
Yeah, I think it's just really a carry on from what the men is trying to do, and it's filtered down, you know, right through into the women's program as well. So really, you know, John is just really carrying on what they have started this summer.
Easily taken, and Hayley Matthews had bowled extremely well to that point, hadn't got a wicket, but this time gets the one she deserves. Winfield Hill looking to go big, just 4 from her first 8 deliveries, but picks out the lone fielder in the circle in the onside.
Yes, good wicket there for Matthews, trying to swing across the line, didn't quite get hold of it. Comfortable catch taken there at mid-wicket, but more importantly, Steelers have taken another wicket as we approach the midway point in the 9th over.
Winfield Hill gone for just 4, 47 for 2. Start this series with Winfield Hill.
Let's look at the dismissal there, really. She's fetching that one, it's not really there. Just choosing to play on the onside, just picked up the lone fielder.
Interesting choice to take that ball from outside the off stump and actually try to hit into the smaller onside, but David Cow corner region wasn't able to get it over that fielder. Heather Knight, captain of the English, comes to the middle. Because of the absence of Nat Siva, she's come in at number 4.
And as you said, a very, very experienced player. Would have batted in this situation over a long period.
3 deliveries. Right arm coming over. Off? Off. That's off.
Through our stump mics, I've actually heard her call for off stump guard, and almost caught the umpire by surprise, because you don't tend to see many batters calling for that, more middle or, you know, middle and leg rolling, as you would know very well.
But in the international game these days, that is a normal. Nicely played, but should have been fielded. Gets off the mark, but in the modern game, particularly in the men's game, a lot of the time, especially in white ball cricket, they do take off stump guard, and even in red ball cricket. At times it hasn't benefited them, but it's the new phenomenon.
I think what the English have done here throughout this innings in the first 9 overs, even deliveries have been struck straight to fielders, they're still finding a way to get those singles, something that I think the West Indies can learn massively from.
Well, the intention, the way they play, the intention is to score for every ball.
There have been some bat there, no white signalled, but never easy. So Kaisia Knight, end of the 9th over, 49 for 2.
Yes, a successful run like that, so nearly halfway point, and I think West Indies will be very, very pleased with where this game is going. Just have to make sure that in the final 10 overs that they can maintain this discipline that they've had so far, because it's working at this point. And as you said, Heather Knight, extremely experienced cricketer, and with Sophie Dunkley, you see as the young gun in the team. Really, what they've been needing to do now is to put together a partnership. At the same time, West Indies need to break that.
of a gamble here from Hayley Matthews. Third consecutive over for Afi Fletcher. And she's just conceded the 7 runs. And you look at her record, average of less than 20. Just tells you how much of a wicket taker she is and how important she's been. Even at 35 years old, still playing such a massive role in this bowling attack.
Yeah, the 50 up for England after 9.1. But yes, leg spinner, very vital part of.
Did she get any bat on that? Leslie for Junior not interested.
Keeper certainly was, but was it more in just anticipation of a wicket? Umpire made no movement whatsoever. Once again, that unorthodox reverse sweep.
Wanted 2. He's sent back. She's very young, very athletic, very quick as well, Sophia Dunkley. She's been around for a long time and playing all 3 formats. Well, many people don't realize she's just 24 years old. So much time left in the game.
Yeah, she certainly has, and I think you've got the best parts to come. Having now really got the responsibility of being one of the main batters.
Got it in the gap. Just too short from Afi Fletcher. And just too easy for Dunkley, who's been there now for 27 deliveries.
Yeah, nicely put away. It's slightly short of a length, which allowed Dunkley the opportunity. She was moving towards the off to start with. Once she'd made a good contact, really, there was no chance of the 2 fielders placed behind square cutting that one off.
First real loosener from Afi Fletcher. She's been on the money on target to start these first 2 overs. A much better area with 5 fielders in the offside. Still though able to get a single and get off strike. Sophia Dunkley.
Yes, and if you look really at where West Indies are at the moment, everybody, the run savers are on the 30-yard circle. So it's going to be very difficult to stop a single.
Another single. Got over though for England.
Overtime.
8 runs from it. Halfway stage, 57 for 2.
I think the fielders can perhaps start 10 meters in from the 30-yard circle. That would give them a much better opportunity to stop the single.
57 for 2, England. Decent start, a couple of wickets picked up by the West Indies. I feel good about that heading into these middle overs of this innings. It's really fascinating though, to see the depth. We heard Nickel and Roland talking about the depth of this English bench, but all their options. Because remember, Alice Capsey had been opening the batting with Sophia Dunkley, and of course she broke her collarbone and had to go back. And then they've got Danny Wyatt. Options galore. But here we are. Captain Heather Knight calling for two. Some confusion here. Been a delay. Two in the end.
Yeah, you can see the intent from Heather Knight. She ran that first one really quick because she knew she wanted two. And these boundaries are pretty big, so it was good work from Cherry Ann Fraser. A fielder in the deep, but even better running.
Big appeal. No movement.
Yeah, this is actually a much better start from West Indies compared to that first T20 around this stage. In England, they were 2 for 85. So much better bowling.
There's that use of the feet again. You mentioned Stacey Ann King. Looking comfortable out there in the middle. Karishma Ramarak just moving her field around slightly. Looking for a bit of a breakthrough here.
I'm sure they won't mind those singles. From over number 5, spin has been introduced and they've really kept things down. Just the odd boundary, but in England they're not scoring as quickly as they did previously.
Yeah, and this is the magic partnership for England, the captain and Sophia Dunkley. Is there anything they can do to keep a damper on proceedings here?
I like the lateral movement as well from batters. They use the crease quite well. And they advance, but then just that lateral movement to left and right.
There you saw it. Sophia Dunkley took a little step to the left before she did that, but dot ball to finish. England 63 for 2.
Still trying to score at least a runner ball. This England pair. Dunkley, well, she's openly batting. She's on 31 off 30. Current run rate 5.73.
International series has moved from Antigua to Barbados. We're at Kensington Oval for this first night match of the week. A couple matches coming up this weekend. Reminding all Barbadians, all visitors to Barbados, that you can come on down and have a watch. Bring the family. What a night out here in Bridgetown. Alia Aline into the attack. Another Barbadian who will feel pretty good about being on home soil.
Yeah, opting for those 4 fielders out right away, Alia Allen. And she had an extra cover. And third, deep mid-wicket. And mid-off.
Both Knight and Dunkley looking particularly athletic and sprightly, making those runs. Of course, athleticism, fitness, so crucial, so important in the women's game. West Indies suffering at the minute with the loss of a lot of players through injury.
Or retirement.
As well. Indeed, if you're just tuning in, there'll be many names missing from this roster that you're used to seeing. Anisa Mohammed taking 6 months off. Of course, Deandra Doughton, such a loss, not just to the West Indies, but to international cricket. Oh, that's beautifully struck into the offside. It'll only be a couple of runs, but looking in firm control here.
Yeah, good work in the outfield from Shemaine Campbell. One of those names, we saw her early on and we actually thought that she was going to be fit enough to play for this match. Shamila Connell. We saw her going through her paces, maybe just having a bit of a fitness test because she's been injured for some time as well. Missed the ODIs, missed the first T20.
Yeah, but in these moments, which will be difficult for the West Indies women as they're transitioning from the old guard to the new guard, and obviously missing a number of players through injury, this is a moment of opportunity for young players. Of course, we have 2 members of the under-19 squad in this, and also for some of the players who've been here a while and maybe haven't distinguished themselves as they know they can. As well as, wow, what a shot. 1 bounce 4, beautiful shot into the onside.
Yeah, very good shot from Heather Knight, almost like a release shot to get things going. I just thought it was pitched up a bit too full, almost in the slot from Alea Allen. Yeah, play of Heather Knight caliber, she's not going to miss out on that.
Oh, that's sweetly struck. Cut away to the point boundary. 2 boundaries to end the over. And after 12, England are 74 for 2.
Yeah, really racing on with things here with those 2 boundaries of those 2 last deliveries. Now in her first over, it goes for 12. Pretty expensive. But it just shows the class of Heather Knight. Just opens the face and guides it through that point region.
Karishma Ramarak again.
And she's in for her 3rd over in Karishma Ramharak. 19 runs coming off overs thus far.
Oh, beautifully done. Great glove work from Kaisia Knight. That gets rid of a very dangerous captain of the England side, Heather Knight.
I was just about to state as the umpires, they're clearly signaling a wide. But yes, you can't be out stumped on a wide. That she'd like to probably just put a wicket to that 19 runs. And she does that. She gets the vital wicket of England's captain, Heather Knight. And she goes for 18 or 14. Yeah, as we have a look, Heather Knight just falling over. Attempted to play an on drive. Missed completely.
Right, a bit of a breakthrough here for the Windies. They'll be happy to see the back of that partnership, and coming in is the young Maya Bouchier. We've talked a lot about the options and the switchabouts and the different looks that England is having at their side ahead of a big year for women's cricket in 2023. But opportunity here for the West Indies as well, in the absence of some of their veterans, to just take a look, win, lose or draw, see what's happening.
Well, she gets off the mark right away, Maya Bouchier. Thought Karishma Ramhara could have at least attempted to save that. As a bowler, if you can control, and you spoke about control the controllables, I'm sure you could control that because it's coming right back at you.
Yeah, that's the least that has to happen. 6 good balls on a line, really tight fielding. Let England work for it. It's really nice use of the feet again from Dunkley. Gets it past Ramarak. She gave it a try there for you, Stacey Ann King.
I'll take that any day. Maya Bouchier, she wants to be the next Nat Siva. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, no doubt she can be. Really exciting young talent, and this is the thing about representation. If you see it before you, you can emulate it.
Agreed fully, and she has that opportunity coming in the middle to bat. Usually a position that Nat Siva, the ever dependable Nat Siva, bats at.
She's 24 years old, out of London, Bouchier. Debuted September 2021 against New Zealand. She's played 14 T20 internationals, so not brand new. Looking very composed. It's picked up nicely. It will drop into space, and it should be just the one. No, misfielded, and a couple of runs. That's the end of the 13th, and England 82 for 3.
Yeah, just again, the standout has been the running, that communication between the England batters. They've run really well. Boundaries are quite big. And so once they hit out into those big boundaries, they push for twos.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Tasmania, the Bellerive Oval during the Men's World Cup, and those were very big boundaries, and the observation was made many times about how the teams weren't looking for boundaries, but rather pushing into space and running. This isn't an athletic game.
Agreed. It's totally different to sometimes what you see from a West Indies perspective.
Cherry Ann Fraser from the commentary end. Should just be the single. In your time, Stacey Ann, when you were playing, was there a big emphasis on physical fitness, on running, on being a sort of fit athlete?
It most definitely was, and it still is, from what I'm aware of. West Indies strength and conditioning coach Shane Cooper. I know he's into athletics, so there's a lot of running that happens.
Lobbed over, is going to fall safely though. And again, another couple of runs.
Yeah, and you've seen that in most of the players, I'd say, because you've seen them gotten a lot leaner. Say for one, Cherry Ann Fraser, who's bowling at present, Chanel Henry, her fitness, it has excelled.
Yeah, it's a bit of a non-negotiable, one would think, because of course being fit doesn't only impact how you run between the wickets, how you play in the outfield, how you pick up things as a fielder, but also your mental strength and resilience.
Yeah, because sometimes you get to a point that you just want to quit, but you've got to push that, make that extra effort.
Oh, it was really mistimed. There's an opportunity there. Just didn't quite. I think she was on her back foot there. Afi Fletcher.
I think she anticipated that Sophia Dunkley would play that more over the wicketkeeper's head.
It didn't get aerial. I'm not sure it was quite a chance, but maybe could have been. And that struck away nicely. That should go all the way. An attempt on the boundary, but 4 more to the English side.
It was well struck. Cherry Ann Fraser, she had to cover a lot of grounds because she was almost in a cow corner position. And Chanel Henry. And what that shot has done is force a change in the leg side field. And for Maya Boucher, there's now a short, fine leg, and 3 sweepers.
So she's gone into the offside. Oh, an opportunity. Put down again. That was not a difficult catch. That's Rashada Williams again in the same position. That's the end of the over. After 14, England 92 for 3.
West Indies, they'll look back at this and think those 2 chances could have really turned things around. In that first T20, there were 3 chances that were put down.
You played this game at the highest level, Stacey Ann King. You know about the psychology, but when you drop one, especially a sitter in the first over, what does it do to your mindset when you have another one just over your head, directly in line? Are you thinking, oh my goodness, I don't want to drop it? Or are you thinking, I've got it this time?
Yeah, of course, sometimes that pressure is on, but you've got to switch that off as soon as possible and just switch back on and stay in the moment, stay in what's happening at present. You always think that, yeah, it's happened, it's gone, the next one I'm going to get it. You've got to have that mindset.
That's middle.
Creeping towards 3 figures here, England. Feel pretty good about that score, 92 for 3. West Indies women have struggled to put any big totals on the board. So Captain Hayley Matthews will know more than anyone just how important these last overs are.
As you see, Chanel Henry coming in for her 3rd.
Mistimed that. Tricked by the bounce somewhat. Oh, calling for a 3rd. Maya Boucher did not run at all. That's really poor fielding from the Windies women.
First 3 into have been run. But again, good, very good communication between this batting pair as well. It has now seen a change in field. Cherry Ann Fraser now comes in that point region, and Janaba Joseph, well, she goes into mid-wicket. I just thought it was a bit of an awkward bounce because those other pitches are there. So one of those practice pitches, ball may have just bounced awkwardly.
I think it was an awkward bounce, so that was the forgivable offense. It was the one afterwards. Wide. Yeah, it's really easy game from up here, Stacey Ann King, I got to tell you. I enjoy playing it from the commentary box. Yeah, picked up nicely. Beautiful shot. And pasted into the onside for 4 more. Boucher's looking good.
Yeah, you can't bowl that length. And Chanel Henry, that's just too short. That's a gift. And we saw some of the England batters warming up that way earlier. Anything that's short, they were pulling into those practice nets.
And it brings up the 100 for England. Very nicely. Don't appear to be under any pressure here. The English. Haley just having a word with their bowler.
And that run rate is just climbing. Just under 7 at present.
Managed to restrict him to just the run, single run there.
Henry, she has now changed that field. So Janaba Joseph, who was short mid-wicket, she's now more or less in a backward square position.
Calls of catch, but that's split the 2 fielders and almost went all the way. But it's 4 more runs. This time off the bat of Sophia Dunkley.
Yeah, again, Dunkley just continuing with her fine form. And she moves on to 40 from 37. And Henry, you cannot bowl that length. Once Dunkley can get under it, she will dispatch it. The run rate has now climbed over 7.15.
All getting a bit expensive here for Chanel Henry. Wants to close this over out well. Oh, dear. Well, when it rains, it pours. It's buys to end the over. So after 15, England 106 for 3.
Match of 2 halves so far.
2 legs. Right there. Right arm over.
This one has been all England. Afi Fletcher to bowl her final over. 15 runs and a wicket, but last couple of overs, Sophia Dunkley's taken over Roland Butcher.
Yes, and England nicely poised, really, with wickets in hand. In these final overs, they can really afford to take some risks now. Dunkley has been there right from the start.
She's been magnificent, really. She knew she missed out in that last game after being run out, and she's capitalized on this opportunity ever so well.
Having got this far now, really, her aim should be to bat right through the innings.
Have to hurry. A bit of a fumble from Hayley Matthews. You talk about these 40 deliveries she's faced, Roland. Just 12 dot balls in the 40. That is an exhibition of straight rotation.
Well, that's exactly what England try to do in terms of, as I said, scoring off every ball. That is the first option. If they can't score, then they defend. But the first thing is to look to score.
Wanted 2, but settles on 1, and she's been well supported as well by Maya Boucher.
Yeah, nice return there. Boucher's come in and just only faced 13 balls for her 23, so she's offered excellent support.
This will be an important over for Hayley Matthews because she's gone back to a strike ball, a final over of her quarter, Afi Fletcher. That is innovation at its best, but it doesn't get to the boundary. You can see the intent though. Comes back for 2 Dunkley, just the one fielder down at deep mid-wicket, square on the onside.
Yeah, she's tried to play that shot on a couple of occasions. On this occasion, she did make pretty good contact. And with the leg side field, she might be better served trying to play the traditional sweep. She might get more success.
Tries it again. And of course, because she's done that, it's not a wide, even though it's down the leg side. I got to come back from Afi Fletcher. The West Indies needed that one just to quiet things a bit. End of 16 overs, 5 from it. 115 for 3.
Yes, and with 4 overs remaining, I guess England will be looking at a target of, say, 150. That should be the aim at this stage. West Indies can keep the score down to 150, then it gives them something to really chase. But it's going to be important these last 4 overs. Don't really want the game to get away from you too quickly.
After 2 overs in the power play, Hayley Matthews now bowling her 4th and final. Just gone for the 12 runs in the 3 overs. Two again. A couple of times we've seen that where Boucher has tried to come back for 2 but sent back by Dunkley. Probably the better in this situation because Dunkley is well set and we're looking to go big against the off-spin option.
Yeah, and I think a wise decision really to turn the 2 down because the fielder got onto the ball quite quickly and a pretty accurate return as well.
There is a fielder there waiting at long off. And takes it. Matthews has got her second. The crucial wicket of Dunkley. Partnership broken.
Yes, Dunkley trying to go over the offside. Made good contact, but it was nicely taken out there at long off. So Matthew gets the wicket. 4th wicket goes down. And Dunkley will be very disappointed to have got out at this stage, really. Having done all the hard work. And obviously needing to take further risk in these final overs. She goes for 43.
Good bowling really from Hayley Matthews. Just enticed Sophia Dunkley, even after the stroke she's played in this innings, to go over that long off fielder. Never easy at the Kensington Oval. An easy catch taken by Chanel Henry. That could be the wicket that the West Indies need just to wrestle that momentum back in their favour.
Partnership, just trying to see what the partnership was worth, but that was quite a handy partnership between those 2. So with the current run rate of 7.10, they will certainly be hoping they can push that up in these final overs.
Important strike to get that wicket, but now you think onus is on Maya Boucher. 14 deliveries for 24. Really good start. Alice Davidson Richards, more than capable, but new to the crease. Run out chance. Had she picked up cleanly, Shemaine Campbell.
Yeah, she was thinking about the run out before she actually got the ball in her hands. Just took her eye off the ball at the last moment and afforded an easy single.
Another one for Hayley Matthews. She's putting on a show in front of her home crowd. 3 on the day, and the West Indies right back in this game.
Yes, and Boucher really not reading the script, having just lost Dunkley down the wicket, attempting to hit that one over the infield. And a smart piece of stumping. Matthew gets another one. She now has 3 for 14, and good bowling effort by the off spinner.
You speak about the flight that Hayley Matthews is bowled with, not afraid to be hit. 3 for 14 in her 22 deliveries, but a good cameo from Maya Boucher. How often, though, Roland, you see in this game of cricket, one wicket always brings a second?
Yes, and this is well bowled by Matthews. She's tossed it up, and Boucher has given himself just a little bit too much room, and then ended up being some distance away from the ball. So Matthew gets another wicket.
That's middle.
And both those dismissals in this over, the length and line were very similar. Just on that 4th stump, but on that good length area. So not full enough to drive down the ground. Could be a run out chance. And she misses. That will be a big miss for Kaisia Knight.
I'm not sure why Kaisia didn't throw the ball instead of trying to run to the stumps. Then it was always going to be a dash with the player. She was in front of the game, and really, even though she'd run towards the stumps, but having got close to the stumps, the underarm throw would have done the trick. But she chose otherwise, and batsman got home.
Catherine Brunt definitely can strike it off the mark straight away. Just be one though. A really good over from Hayley Matthews to end her spell. 3 for 15 in her 4 overs. With 3 remaining, England 118 for 5.
Yeah, very good spell. And in that over, picked up the 2 very important wickets of Boucher and Dunkley. Both batsmen who were set and really had developed a good partnership. Now it's really left to 2 new batsmen to try in these final 3 overs to salvage whatever runs they can get to set West Indies a total. But Matthews have done her work for the night. Excellent figures of 3 for 15, so she'll be quite pleased with that.
So Hayley Matthews trying to make something happen. She broke a 40-run partnership between Sophia Dunkley, and Maya Boucher. And it just came in 25 deliveries as well, so tells you how effective they were at rotating the strike. But 2 new batters at the crease. You're going to have to start from square one, because 118, even though it hasn't been the easiest of surfaces to bat on, still will want at least north of 140. But for the first time in this series, Rashada Williams with the ball in hand. Roland, this is an interesting move. Off spinner in the 18th over. Haven't seen her for the series. Even in the one international series, didn't bowl.
Yeah, it's very much a gamble. Perhaps this is the best time to gamble, really, in the final overs. You got two new batters at the crease. It could go horribly wrong, but at the same time, maybe they figure that a slow bowler is a better option, and that's a very, very wide delivery.
Have to re-bowl that one, but I think Hayley Matthews just thinks this surface is conducive to spin, as it has been in recent time. The Kensington Oval. And it certainly has suited their attack. Think about the way Fletcher Matthews herself bowled. Definitely has helped their attack. Keep England pretty quiet after a fiery start.
It's done the job, and obviously there's a bit of pressure on Williams now, really, to bowl, and that's dropped.
Almost had her first international wicket, Rashada Williams. And I think Shemaine Campbell will think that should have been taken. Yeah. Not the tallest.
Yeah, reverse sweep really went at a nice height. Would have been called a wide if they missed it, but
2 is the call.
Oh, Lord.
2-1. And Roland, listen to this. Rashada Williams has never bowled a ball in her 28 before this international games.
Well, she'd be asking for it every game after this one. Certainly, she should have had a wicket there for sure.
Have to hurry, have to hurry. Direct hit could have been interesting. I must say I'm surprised, even though it's been a very good over. Nonetheless, I'm very surprised that Sharianne Fraser hasn't been given the ball, given what we've seen in terms of her variation at this stage of the innings. Doesn't carry, and it goes through Campbell again. She's had a tough day at the office, Shemaine Campbell. Another easy 2 runs, but they've tried that reverse sweep quite a number of times. End of 18 overs, 126 for 5.
Yes, and not a bad over. Really be quite pleased with singles and the occasional 2 there. So finished just 5-6 runs off the over. So the gamble has paid off, certainly in that over.
Sharianne Fraser. Yes, sir. So Fraser back into the attack. Just the 1 over today after bowling the new ball in that first T20 international. But different surface, different situation.
Yes, and really it's all go at this stage with just 2 overs remaining. Batsmen have got to take risk. A chance really here for Fraser to pick up a couple of wickets as well, with the batsman trying to score as quickly as possible.
And this is why I'm surprised that Fraser wasn't given the ball earlier. Hayley Matthews looked to be struggling a bit, but back to her feet. Do get that with the Drew factor. Things sometimes fielding out there can be a bit difficult, but seems to be walking it off. Boy, do they need her. Roland?
Well, she is the mainstay of the team at this moment in time, the leader. Important role.
I think that is just excellent. Excellent 3 deliveries from Sharianne Fraser. And that right there, slower delivery but very wide, knowing Brunt would go after her.
Yeah, I think Brunt moved across to that one. It would have been called a wide had she missed it, but came off the bottom of the bat.
A very slow delivery, and it seemed like Catherine Brunt looked for a wide, but misses out big time.
Yeah, not the correct choice there, really. And expecting that one to go even wider.
What an over this is. Superb over so far from Sharianne Fraser in the first 5 deliveries.
Yeah, good piece of fielding there by Matthews. Just at the edge of the circle at that extra cover position.
Wanted 2, but they'll settle on 1. That could be a match-winning over from Sharianne Fraser. Brought back in for a second. Just 4 runs conceded of the 19th over. Excellent stuff, 130 for 5.
Yeah, the last 2 overs very economical for West Indies. They'll be quite pleased with the returns from those 2 overs, and this last over, obviously they'd be hoping for a similar result, and that would have meant that the last 3 overs would have been very, very good news for the West Indies.
I think another factor as to why Rashada Williams may have been given the ball, you hear through our effects mics, the umpire's continuously telling Hayley Matthews that she's far behind in terms of getting those overs in, and we know how the modern game has grown in terms of the time constraints that you have to bowl your 20 overs. So Rashada Williams, being a spinner, gets through the overs very quickly. So far she's done exceedingly well. To bowl your first ever time in professional international cricket, I should say, and only concede 8 runs from your first 7 deliveries, you take that in the death.
And should have had a wicket as well.
Six fielders on the 30-yard circle in the offside. Very slow. Probably gets away with it there, Rashada Williams.
Not sure why the batsman's trying to hit the ball on the offside when you can move outside the off stump, open up the leg side.
Taken. Excellent piece of fielding from Sharianne Fraser, and after that amazing over she just bowled, follows it up with a brilliant piece of catching.
Yeah, that's a very good catch. Pressure situation. When the shot was played, I thought it was through the gap, but she made good ground to her left, full length dive, and held on to it. So this acceleration not coming for the English. These last 3 overs haven't produced too many runs. West Indies in the period has picked up a few wickets, and let's have a look at this one again. It's going away from her, it's going away from her. An excellent grab, just out in front of her, and gets the applause from her team for a very good catch.
Grant gone for 7, 131 for 6. I think also the captaincy, Roland, from Hayley Matthews. It's a big risk having no fielder on the offside boundary. She left mid-off in the circle, and it worked for her.
It certainly did, but again, I was wondering why the batsman's trying to hit the ball on the offside or bat. That's a lovely shot.
Goes over the offside this time, and it doesn't take Sarah Glenn too long to get in. Just needs the one delivery. She'll be saying, well, maybe need a promotion in the next one.
Yeah, that's a little bit fuller, that delivery, which allowed her to just get on the rit. So Glenn just struck it over that infield. As you said, there are 6 fielders really saving that single on the offside. Chose to go on the aerial route.
Aerial again, but won't carry to that cow corner fielder. Coming back for 2. Catherine Brandt pulls out the dive and safe. Sorry, Sarah Glenn. Brandt, of course, just dismissed. So they've had to work hard. The West Indies have done extremely well, even with the part-time option of Rashada Williams. Just 14 runs conceded in 11 deliveries and a wicket as well. Final delivery. Aerial and just over Fraser. She's only faced 3 deliveries, Sarah Glenn, but that could be a crucial 10 runs she's been able to score, and it gets them past 140. 141 on the board for the English.
Yes, and tight cricket, those last 3 or 4 overs, I think, really honours even at that point, because leading into the 16th over, 17th over, England were in a very good position to accelerate the scoring rate. But West Indies have done well. They've picked up vital wickets and then also restricted the bats to a manageable total of 141. So at the end of the day, I think they've done a reasonable job in circumstances where it could have been a higher total.
Well, it was a really good start from the openers in terms of Dunkley and Danny Wyatt, and both of them got starts. Sophia Dunkley was so impressive today, the way she just went through the gears, but Afi Fletcher broke through, got the crucial wicket of Danny Wyatt, and Hayley Matthews picked up 3 for the day. That was one of them. Just trying to tug at Lauren Winfield Hill. It's been a tough series for her. Heather Knight came to the crease at 4 in place of Nat Silva. Just majestic to watch. Then she had to go. Used the feet a couple of times, the English batters, but were actually outfoxed a couple of times by the spinners. Matthews picked up 3. Ramnarat also getting the wicket of Knight. They continued to tumble for the English as the innings went on. Just 31 runs scored in the last 5 overs, and that could be so crucial. Start again for the openers. Wyatt got 20. Sophia Dunkley, though, 43 from 43. Just 12 dot balls in that innings. She was brilliant, but when they lost the wicket of Dunkley and Boucher in the same over, the West Indies stormed their way back. England still getting to 141, a competitive 141, given the struggles we've seen from this West Indies batting lineup. The bowling, Roland?
Yes, Matthews really the pick of the bowlers. 4 overs, she's got 3 for 15 with 10 dot balls, so she'd be happy with that. Henry down for 31 off 3. Ramnarat 1 for 26. Fletcher got 1 for 20 off for 4. Elaine just 1 over for 12. Fraser none for 15 off 2. And Williams, those 2 overs costing some 18 runs and 1 wicket.
Well, a good first innings in this second T20 International. The West Indies will have to bat well if they want to chase it down against this powerful bowling attack. Don't go too far. We'll have the resumption in about 20 minutes' time.
International between the West Indies and England. England won the toss today and decided to have a bat first. Started off very well, in fact, with Danny Wyatt and Sophia Dunkley getting England off to a good start. Sophia Dunkley in the end top scoring for England with 43 run a ball, but it was the spinners who took all the wickets here this evening. Hayley Matthews, Afi Fletcher with the original breakthrough. Good evening to Roland Butcher here beside me.
Alex, yes, and certainly Matthews' star with the ball. Her 4 overs led from the front. She got 3 for 15. Chanel Henry, none for 31 of her 3 overs. Ramnarak, 1 for 26 of 4. Fletcher, 1 for 20 of 4. Aline, just 1 over 12. And Fletcher. Fraser took 9 for 15 of 2. And Williams, she also bowled 2 overs and picked up 1 for 18. So overall, pretty good bowling effort by West Indies.
Yeah, some ingenuity as well from the captain, Hayley Matthews, who bowled Rashada Williams for the first time ever, Roland.
Yes, and that I think Williams would have been quite pleased with that. Could have got a wicket very early in the over, but that drop catch, but made up for it later on. But now really West Indies have got to do it with the bat against an aggressive bowling attack.
Indeed, Catherine Brunt just moved up to number 6 in the T20I bowling rankings, pushing Hayley Matthews, ironically, down to 7. Hayley, of course, still number 3 all-rounder in the world. Alia Aline takes first strike. It's a dot ball.
Yeah, first delivery bang on target, having to defend and look around the field at the English fielders, and you can see this constant movement. Obviously looked pretty well drilled, and fielding is something that they work very hard at.
Catherine Brunt also just back off some good rest and recoup. Been managing her workload. And off the mark, Alia Alain will pick up a couple here. Good start.
Yes, just nicely played behind square. Gets off the mark, so that's just the perfect start.
Only the second series that Hayley Matthews is captain in the West Indies side. She's got a new side to contend with Roland, having lost a lot of veterans.
Yes, nicely played, right in line. And yes, I mean, Matthews got an opportunity now to, craft her own way. Sometimes the opportunity to, shape a new team, is something that she should embrace. And if she can do a good job, then obviously it argues well for the West Indies going forward.
Field that square leg and and deep third on the boundary, but she's lucky to get away with that to the first boundary for the West Indies innings.
It's not where she wanted it to go, really beaten by the length and pace of that delivery. Got a thick outside edge. Carried towards the slip in the air, but never in a position to seriously make an effort to catch it. The pace of the delivery just raced down to the third man boundary. There's one in place, but still couldn't get around in time.
Sounds like the DJ's gotten up and about here at Kensington Oval, bringing some festivity to proceedings.
Back on target again, and Aline looking for the single. That's good to see. But you will notice that the field is not sitting right back on the edge of the 30-yard circle, because it's very difficult for them to get in quick enough from that point to stop the single.
Yes!
7 off the over. West Indies 7 without loss.
Yes, and a nice start to the proceedings. They'll be quite happy with that. All 7 to Aline, albeit a 4 was an outside edge, but she'll take them whichever way she can. And would also maintain the strike as two fielders get together in the middle. Two batters get together in the middle of the pitch just to have a discussion about things. And Aline will take strike again.
Yeah, experienced enough now, Alia Aline. She's also had a very busy year. Played under Hayley at the Commonwealth Games as well for Barbados. Enough international experience now that she'll be wanting to distinguish herself like her captain.
And just the right place to do it, right here at Kensington Oval. Certainly make a statement.
Speaking of making a statement, Lauren Bell with the ball in her hand, opening the bowling with Catherine Brunt, as she did in that first T20I. She was the player of the match there.
And that one just jagging back. Aline got an inside edge. Fortunate to see the ball just ricocheted off the pad on the offside nut. Could easily have gone back onto her stumps. But as you said, yeah, Bell really was the standout bowler.
Two fielders out the circle, square leg and deep fine leg, who's going to try to make a way around now to cut this off, and will manage to do so. Still pick up a couple of runs.
A mistake there by the wicketkeeper. That's cost 2 boys. Really should have been a regulation take. Eluded her. 2 more to the total.
Oh, very nicely done. That split the fielders as well. That will run away for another boundary. Good start here from the women in maroon.
Yeah, nice edge there to ground, right between that backward point and the solitary slip. No third man in place because that fielder was brought up into that position at short third man. And boundary to Aline, that goes, hasn't moved off, and that's deliberately played actually. She just opened the face of the bat and just ran it nicely down to third man.
Oh, it's a nice bullshy start here from Alia Aline. That's another great shot that will get all the way, and it's another boundary.
Yeah, that's a nicely controlled shot. Just getting on top of the bounce. And again, deliberately playing the ball in that area. There's nothing edgy about that. Just played it with good timing. Gets another boundary.
Just getting a sense here that it's not only England playing fearless cricket this evening at Kensington Oval. These two openers for the West Indies have a home crowd to impress. It's a wide ball.
Wide ball and another mistake there by the keeper, really. That should have been a straightforward take down the leg side. Just pushed it away. So 2 more to the total.
Lauren Winfield Lauren Winfield Hill.
Yep, and really
is, sorry, she's
Just-
the wicket keeper today, of course, in for Amy Jones.
and really showing a little bit of nerves at the moment. Missed 2 balls. Just replaying that stroke there by Aline. Excellent run in. Just dropping the ball in front on the offside and instantly calling through for the single.
One more ball left in this over from Lauren Bell. Gone for 11 already. It's a good, solid, confident start here, particularly from Alia Aline. She didn't like it. Lucky to get away with that.
She most certainly was, just trying to drive over the top, just chipped it over the mid-off fielder, so the over comes to an end. And it's 21, a promising start by West Indies, 21 without loss at the end of that over. I think England may have to rethink that third man position because a number of balls have gone in that direction. They may have to sacrifice the deep square leg and bring the square leg into the circle and then drop the short third man down to traditional third man, because 3 boundaries have come in that area so far, and needs to be a protected area.
Catherine Brunt there, just shining the ball for Freya Davies.
Yes, really missed out on that. Really looked a free hit down the leg side. Just had to beat the one fielder on the 45. And as luck would have it, went straight to the fielder.
Valuable dot ball.
Yes, but the intention was to look for a single. Ball struck a little bit too firmly, but more importantly, that point fielder and the extra cover fielder very close in the save in the single, and then the mid off on the edge of the circle, mid on at the edge of the circle, but look where mid wicket is also. Makes it more difficult for the batsman to drop the ball and batter to drop the ball and run.
Yeah, and the pressure building. And there we have the first fall of the first wicket for the West Indies, just as you said, Roland Holder. Butcher, the pressure was building for the West Indies. She felt she had to go for something, didn't quite get hold of it, and comfortably taken.
Yes, pitched that delivery, trying to hit it over the top. Seemed to get it at the bottom of the bat and just lobbed it gently up to mid off, so the first wicket goes down. After a promising start, Aline goes for 16, it's 21 for 1.
Yet one of the many luxuries for this English side is the depth of their bench. You guys were talking about Freya Davies, 27 years old in fact. She's played 21 T20 internationals. Got some good figures behind her.
Yeah, depth is very, very important. And just re-looking at this straightforward catch taken there at mid-off, really aiming on the onside and just lobbing it up. And a simple catch taken there by Brunt. So
Middle, yep.
Knight comes in as Matthews is on one, having faced just one delivery as well. So obviously the field changes for the left-handed batter.
Kaisia Knight, the new batter. This loss of the wicket will give Hayley Matthews a chance now to get stuck in.
Yes, and Knight tends to maneuver the ball quite nicely. That was a deliberate shot, playing the ball down to third man. So the intent, nice intent from the beginning, just to look to score. I think that's what West Indies need to do. Attempted drive there by Matthews, and indicating that that ball had moved away from the right-handed batter. Nicely taken by the keeper standing up.
It's really well bowled by Freya Davies so far. 1 for 1 after 5 balls.
And that short mid-wicket fielder comes into play once more, preventing the single. Yeah, good over.
Indeed, tidy from Davies. 22 for 1 after 3.
Oh wait, they're not for the lefty. Don't touch me on this side. Now for the lefty, please. Deep cover. Deep shot.
Middle? That's middle. Coming
Yeah,
around to you.
it's like time for spin.
There, Dino. Oh, get on, Billy. Yes, Billy. Good here, good here. Oh, you're not gonna get it.
Kaisia Knight just dropping it, and a big running here. A little bit of an opportunity, making the effort to run between the wickets here.
Yes, and Matthews had to get the skates on there. That was a tight single. but fortunately the throw was a little bit wayward, but got home safely.
It's Charlie Dean with the ball in hand.
Yeah, Dean, yeah, Dean. Me and you, Dean, I.
That's a big appeal. Patrick Gustard uninterested.
Yes, umpire not getting too flustered there as that ball skidded on to Matthews on the back foot. Got struck on the pad.
Yes, Dean.
Nicely bowled. Just Matthews just pushing it back to the bowler.
Oh, and she's got her. Charlie Dean, you had a sense that she was going to do something dangerous, and she's done the ultimate. She's taken the captain, Hayley Matthews, cheaply at home.
Yes, it looks as if Matthews has made this ball into a Yorker length really and played around it. Very disappointed. She's not happy with herself walking back to the dugout. West Indies have lost their second wicket, and really Matthews, we were hoping that Matthews would be the one who would shepherd this young team along. She has to go. Yeah, just playing all around that delivery. He was nicely flighted. Maybe I'm a little bit harsh. Should give the ball a little bit more credit because it was a decent delivery, but Matthews working into the onside. Didn't make contact. She has to go.
Off.
Rashada Williams, the new batter.
Ones, team, no ones.
Opportunity for her after the early departure of the captain.
Gets off the mark straight away with a nice nudge down to long on, and brings, that was the over, a very successful over there for Dean, and at the end of the over it's 20-24 for the loss of 2.
Middle stop. Bowler, right arm over.
We're in over number 5. It's 24 for 2.
All picked up and lofted nicely, fine to the boundary.
Yes, you can add 4 to that. Really a loose delivery outside the leg stump, and just picked up nicely there by Williams. It's a short fine leg once it went over the top of the fielder. Certainly a boundary, so the score goes now 28 for 2.
Come on in, team.
A second over for you, Davies.
Yes.
Oh, York.
Better delivery, that one right up on the block hole, and equally well played.
Try skills, Frey.
Davies struck early, got rid of Alia Aline. Made inroads into this West Indies lineup.
Aline was looking quite dangerous. Got a couple of boundaries, and so good, 2 good wickets so far.
Yes, Dunks, yes, Dunks.
Didn't quite get hold of that. She had bigger ambitions for that shot, Roland.
It was on. The ball was full length, and with that close set feel on the onside, it was aimed for mid-wicket. Didn't quite get hold of it. Still got the single.
You straight there. Dino, you go further. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Good, Frey. Nice, Frey. Yes, Dino.
Yes, nice solid defensive shot there by Casey Knight. Really has a lot of ability as a batter. Should be making more runs than she actually does.
Yeah, and Freya Davies just slowing down proceedings here. Current run rate below the required. Another duck ball.
Good, Dan.
Pressure building, Roland.
Nice job, Dan.
Yes, I mean, what's important for these two batters to realize is that at some point in the game there will be pressure built on them, but the thing is not let the pressure burst. You must absorb the pressure, because at some point in time the pressure will be released, but you need to be around in order to take advantage of that.
Yeah, Britty.
That's a really tidy over from Davies. And at the end of the over, the West Indies women 29 for 2.
Yes, tight over there by Davies, and that's the end of her spell as well, but 29 for 2 at the end of the over.
Dan, don't sit.
4 overs in this power play. The West Indies already have lost 2 early wickets. Charlie Dean. First delivery. Getting back for 2. Stacey and King alongside me. Stacey, West Indies bowled well, but it's the reoccurring issue again, the batting.
Yeah, just when they start to look positive, they lose wickets. And when they lose one, a second always follows. Well, really disappointing again to see skipper Hayley Matthews, but a much better innings this time around from Alea Allen. She's really struggled in this England series, batting.
Well, Rashada Williams, who was probably the lone stand-up with the bat in hand in the One International Series, with Kaisia Knight, who did well at the Commonwealth Games in this format. So very capable, just over 7.5 runs per over required. Another one, and they're tumbling the West Indies women. Charlie Dean. This is a fantastic spell from her. Into her second over, not her first, but already 2 wickets.
Yeah, good bowling from Dean, but disappointment for Rashada Williams. She's really been the highlight for West Indies batting. Opted to play across that delivery. Charlie Dean, well, she strikes again. 2 wickets into her second over. Yeah, totally off balance. Rashada Williams.
A big wicket going down again for West Indies women. Just when we were speaking about the fact that we've got 2 capable batters at the crease.
Middle.
Brings young Janaba Joseph. Just made her debut. Look at it again. Charlie Dean, a dream start in terms of with the ball to her T20 international career, just went straight through her. Have to reball that one. But Stacey, she's been around this team for a while, Charlie Dean. Of course, just 21 years old, but she's only played the one T20 international, and this is her first time bowling in T20 international cricket.
She's having a wonderful time in the Caribbean. Charlie Dean. I think she likes this pitch.
She's had to wait 12 months to play her second T20 international against Australia, all the way in January. That's when she played her first. Another wide, struggling with that line, but it tells you about the depth of reserves that they have. England, you think about Sophie Eccleston, makes it very tough for other spinners to really break in. Of course, Eccleston left out today, rested. I think she'll be looking at this game though and saying, coach, got to play the rest of the series on these surfaces.
And just remember, Sophie Eccleston bowled that 4 overs in the first T20. One maiden for just 6 runs.
She's got out the middle. Janaba Joseph, a young player, but just oozing with positivity. It's actually Kaisia Knight, but same characteristics from Knight, more experience, and it's what you expect. Good way to end the over. 38 for 3.
Yeah, definitely a good release shot for Kaisia Knight. In the arc. And punished.
Change your bowler. Right arm over. That's middle stump.
So Janaba Joseph just got a bit carried away there, Stacey, because she's been so special. Just I think the journey and the fact that the West Indies have invested in a younger talent in one of the under-19 players, Trishan Holder, also part of the squad.
Yeah, really big moment for her once again, but again, just her technique. She's not afraid to move her feet towards spinners. She's looked so solid, Janaba Joseph.
That 9-run over against Charlie Dean has actually helped the West Indies get 38 from the power play. The first T20 international, just 27. Crisp drive from Kaisia Knight. Today, much improved.
Oh my God.
But the problem is, Stacey, they've lost the 3 wickets, so similar in terms of the wickets column.
And 3 of their most senior batters as well.
Joseph off the mark straight away. How significant is it though to give those 2 youngsters? You look at this England team, Alice Capsey, who's injured, broken collarbone, 18 years old. Couple of individuals in this team, under 19. The West Indies finally doing that and giving this opportunity to 2 under 19s ahead of that World Cup.
Yeah, I honestly thought that it should have been done from the ODIs because I've seen some of the young girls in that under 19 setup.
Good.
And they look the part. So I just think that for now it's not too late. Young Janaba Joseph and Trishan Holder. I think from a West Indies perspective, they might have been waiting until that under-19 World Cup is completed. But just think that for these senior players who's been around for some time and just not producing, maybe having these young players around can just force them to do something better because now you've got to play for spots.
Something that England have done. Competition for places just brings better performances. Heather Knight speaks to it in every presentation. Like the fact that both these batters are using their feet. End of the 7th over, 40 for 3. Sarah Glenn bowling her first over. Already 5 options used for the English. So Davison Richards will be the 6th option introduced into the attack. If the English can win a game, Stacey Ann King, without Nat Sever, without Sophie Eccleston, arguably 2 of their best white ball players, if not their best batter and definitely their best bowler, it tells you a lot about the depth that they have.
Also their wicketkeeper Amy Jones, who has really been great in the depth for England.
Tell you, this youngster Janaba Joseph, 8 from 17 in that first T20 international, but I know people will look at the scorecard and say, well, that's not any big impact. But the fact that she's using her feet, coming in after 3 wickets go down, against spin and hitting balls over mid-off, I think that is something that you don't see very often. And credit to the coaching staff of that West Indies under-19 and where she spent the majority of her time.
Yeah, I'll even go a bit deeper and say credit to her father, Anthony Joseph, because I know him quite well. And he's done a lot of work with her. Also, her brother. Wide signal, and BK Joseph, who also represented West Indies under 19s in 2020. So she has a background of cricket.
And I think she's a perfect poster almost for that under 19 World Cup, where the West Indies in that Group C, they've got New Zealand, Ireland, Indonesia as well. Steal a quick single. Direct hit could have been close. And I know you can't really judge off of one player, but the intent that she's shown, I think people should be excited for that World Cup. 43 for 3 inside the 8th over.
Yeah, agreed fully. If these 2 players, Janaba Joseph and Trisha Holder, just think about the other players who are there. There's Shonel Sao, who looks pretty competent with bat in hand. Also have young Zayda James, who's played for West Indies A team already. So quite a number of players. Also Janella Glasgow, let me not forget Janella Glasgow, who has been in this West Indies setup. She's travelled with the West Indies team for the 50 over World Cup earlier this year, so gaining experience. I'll also be remiss of me not to say a happy birthday to Marissa Aguilera, manager of that under-19 West Indies team. Today she celebrates that special occasion. Unfortunately, she's in Antigua with the under-19 girls and not in Trinidad, but I'm sure they're making it a special one for her.
You say unfortunately, I say fortunately, helping mold the young talent and the future of West Indies cricket. Where's that fielder there? It's been a good passage. I know we've spoken at length about the Under-19 World Cup. 44 for 3 now, 1 delivery remaining in this 8th over, but this is a small partnership developing for the West Indies women that I think you needed in the middle, because they just continue to lose wickets throughout this series. So this bit of resilience being shown could work positively for this West Indies women, even though they haven't scored at an increasing rate. Taking a risk a couple of times with the running between the wickets, but a good intent being shown by the youngster to get to the danger end. 5 from the over, 45 for 3 after 8 overs.
It's something that we've seen really lack within the West Indies partnerships, that communication, that ability to run and trust your partner. This is good from Kaisia Knight, just leading and guiding that young player, Janaba Joseph.
Now, Heather Knight in the last game bowled an over and actually picked up a wicket. I saw her today in the warm-ups as well, bowling again. And I asked her at the end of that last game if that would be something. Goes through. Will be a couple of runs at least. But Stacey, I was asking her if that would be something that they look to develop. She said, well, if she's needed, happy to bring over the arm. Today they've used 6 options. She hasn't been brought into the attack.
Yeah, that just shows the depth and the quality of players. And then you look at their bench strength and there's so much more.
I think something really unique about Sarah Glenn, you look at sort of her action and run up 2 steps and she's already there, whereas other leg spinners tend to take a long stride in, couples probably 5 or 10 steps to actually approach the crease. She's just almost next to the umpire, if not next to him. Slower and complete deception from Sarah Glenn. She's deserved that wicket ball extremely well, and this surface has just helped her.
Yeah, Joseph attempting to advance, or advancing and missing entirely. Good ball from Sarah Glenn.
Second time that Janaba Joseph stumped in the series. She's liked to use her feet against a spin. That was the ball before the wicket. So Shemaine Campbell comes to the middle.
I just think that she just needed to cover that angle, Janaba Joseph. And totally missed out. Just needed to come down that off, cover that off stump a bit more.
Bit of a refreshment break. It allows us just to analyse this inning so far, and you think West Indies, I think, again will be disappointed. Got off to a good start, 21 from the first 2 overs. And when they lost the wicket of Ali Alin, lost 2 in quick succession. They can definitely take something away though, Stacey, is the way that Rashada Williams, regardless of the format, the way she's batted in this series, spent time at the crease and given herself the opportunity.
Yeah, particularly remember that 54 of 80 balls. West Indies in the second ODI, they were literally in all arms because wickets just kept falling right and wrong, and Rashada Williams, well, she was that bright light in that innings and for West Indies. And she's gotten stats and gotten 2 runouts within those 4 innings she's had, Rashada Williams. And I actually love the way that she's grown as a player. She understands her role, and she understands her strengths as well. She's worked on those weakness areas.
Pricey Knight just seems to be getting some treatment to that right hand. That's seems to be the hold up. So seems to be in a bit of discomfort. He's had a tough 1 international series night, as well as Shemaine Campbell. So a lot to achieve for these 2 in the middle.
You can see that right hand, that right wrist heavily strapped. And she did miss the New Zealand series because she had surgery done.
Middle. Off stump. Off. Bowler's right arm over. Can be.
Sarah Glenn already picked up that wicket.
Dino.
Attacking field, mid-off and mid-on, both in the circle, just 3 outside that 30-yard circle.
Oh, yeah, get that.
Don't see many leg spinners operating with both those fielders up in the ring. But Heather Knight is continuing to play this fearless brand. What I want to know though, Stacey, is in the T20 World Cup, can this be sustained?
That's a different opposition. They might use the option, but against the top teams, they might opt not to. Because if you're bowling Ata Shafali, Verma or Smriti Mandana, who likes to play down the wicket, it'll be difficult.
Well, what about a Meg Lanning? The way that Australia and India have conducted things over in that series in India, I think England will be just knocking on the door to try and play one of those teams soon. End of 9 overs, 50 for 4.
Come on here, team.
They do have
Left hand here.
a couple of matches remaining in this series, the 3 T20 internationals. I was just checking to see if they had any T20 internationals prior to that T20 World Cup. Doesn't seem so in the fixtures I have, but I know there was talk about a possible tri-series that the West Indies will be involved in, featuring South Africa and India. So that will be a challenge for them, but also got exposure going into that T20 World Cup. Charlie Dean again.
And you would think that from a West Indies perspective, they'll take this learning, they'll take this footage of these bowlers.
Catch it.
Almost plucked it out of the air, Charlie Dean. I think she's been massively impressive.
Indeed she has. She seemed to know where she wants batters to score. And there you see she's just having a change in feel because of that strike from Kaisia Knight.
Another one, add another one to the tally. And the English spinners are having a field day here at the Kensington Oval. Charlie Dean, first time bowling in T20 international cricket and already 3 wickets in her first 15 deliveries.
She literally didn't have much to do there, Charlie Dean. Don't know if Kaisia Knight saw that change in feel, saw mid-on go back and opted to just move away to make room to play into the offside and missed it entirely. Good from Charlie Dean, not changing anything very much other than the feel. Kaisia Knight, yeah, just not good enough.
1 for 12 from the 20 deliveries she's faced, 50 for 5. Again, more trouble for the West Indies women. The batting just continues to let them down. Whether chasing, whether batting first. Look at that New Zealand series that you watch very closely, Stacey. In the 5 to 20 internationals, their highest score was 115. It's not really going to help you win games, especially when you face the Indias, the Australias, and even the England, number 2 ranked side in the world.
You've got to score more than a run a ball. Even in the ODIs, they've struggled to really put anything of substance. It's really a worrying time for these West Indies batters, the West Indies team on the whole. The questions for technical staff as well to answer.
I think it's got to start at the Caribbean Premier League. And I know we've only had 1 season of it, but you look at the scores in the Caribbean Premier League and not often teams are able to get past 110. And if that's at that level, your development stage, it's going to be very hard to come to this international setup and be able to put out those sort of runs out of nowhere. A lot on Hayley Matthews, and also tells you how much is on the shoulders of Matthews, Deandra Dutton and Stephanie Taylor as to the recent successes of the West Indies. This is a team that finished in the top 4 in the One International World Cup earlier this year. Beat this England team.
Middle? That's it.
Chanel Henry, the all-rounder, comes to the middle.
Whoa, Bunch, whoa.
I watched Charlie Dean in that India series. She played in the One International series and didn't take a heap of wickets. It was the heart that she showed, even with the bat in hand. Batted at 9, but averaged over 50 in that series. It just seems like she's a big day performer.
It's always good to have one of those in your team. But yeah, again, playing for a spot, Charlie Dean, and really understanding the assignment. Seemed to be a faster delivery, flatter and faster.
Fix it, Dean.
Has struggled though with a few wides down the leg side. Probably but trying to be a bit too straight.
Yeah, possibly trying to get that delivery that she got Rashida Williams with.
Middle. Off.
Spinning a web at the moment, Charlie Dean. Just the one wide off the over and a wicket. All England at this stage. End of 10. 52 for 5.
Well, Roland, what a difference 5 overs makes. 52 for 5 and reeling the West Indies women at this stage.
Yes, Alex, it certainly makes a big difference, and it's a spin. It's done all the damage, really. It's ensured that West Indies are going to have to fight extremely hard if they're going to stay in this game, as the spinners have reaped the rewards. And 3 wickets there for Dean. He's got 3 for 13 and really has turned the game on its head.
Good, Glennie. Good bounce, Glennie.
Sarah Glenn now. Sarah Glenn ranked the number 2 T20I bowler in the world, only behind Sophie Eccleston. So England with 1 and 2 on that bowler's list.
Yes, and nicely played away there for the single by Henry. A lot of responsibility now on this pair to try and put West Indies in a position to challenge for.
She's got to stay calm, Shemaine Campbell. Can't panic. She knows how to make runs. She's got a lot of experience. She'll be hoping that runs all the way, and it should do. Fine, 4 runs. We'll take them.
He's got the legs and straightish delivery, but enough on that to get it down to fine leg. So take them whichever way they come. So Campbell will be quite pleased with that. Score now goes to 7 for 5.
When Stacey Ann King and I were on the way here to the ground, we were talking about this West Indies women's team and about sort of the change of the guard almost. And there is a sort of player a la Shemaine Campbell. White ball to reload that. Who's been around long enough to be stating a claim, to be taking up some of the ownership in this West Indies side, no?
Absolutely, and maybe the times come where you may have to just move on. And
Yes, Dina. Good, Dina.
nice bit of cricket there. Batsman coming down the wicket, bowler dropping it short. Also a smart piece of fielding at point. It may just be the point where you've got to move on, invest in a young player, and invest in the future.
Get it. Get Billy, Get Billy.
All right, snuck an extra run in there. That's the end of the over after 11, West Indies 59 for 5.
Yes, and a misfeel off that final delivery there by Glenn, driven straight back along the pitch, but eluding her grasp. 59 for 5. And you're absolutely right. You know, when you have, you've had many chances over a period of time, there must come a time when you must say really enough is enough.
Well, we heard Nikhil Chandani mentioning earlier this idea that Heather Knight was very excited that her team are vying for spots in this team. And, you know, that is a privilege for a squad. And then perhaps, you know, West Indies, we need to unearth more talent. We need to unearth, lots and lots of young women from this region. Opportunity is here for them.
Well, that should be the aim of any and every team, really, is to get as strong a bench as possible. Nice pull shot, gets a single. But, you know, the more competition you can have in the team, really it drives the other players on, because players who have been in the position suddenly see that there's competition coming from below, and it also drives up their performance as well. And at the end of the day, the beneficiary of all of that is the team itself.
Healthy stuff for a squad, for any team.
Yes, wide delivery, and Henry down on one knee trying to sweep that one and missing out altogether.
Alice Davidson Richards getting a chance tonight as well. This English team who are playing, resting a lot of their stalwarts.
Pleasant shot, but cannot beat the field that bit off.
Oh no, on the required rate, Roland, almost double that of the current rate. It's time to press gas.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult from here on in, really. And it's 9.35 at this moment in time. A couple of overs later on, suddenly it's over 10, and then it's really a hard task.
Yeah, this English side really distinguishing itself in terms of quality. You heard Nikhil mentioning Australia and India, that series ongoing as well. It's Australia 2-1 up. That's been interesting to watch. But all eyes on the women's game at the minute, ahead of the first ever ICC Under-19 World Cup. That will be in January. And then, of course, the women's ICC Women's T20 World Cup. Both of them in South Africa.
Yeah, nicely played. And just going back for the second as well. And getting home. So well run there, well played by Campbell, just nudging that one to square leg. And as you said, the opportunity for those under-19 players in the World Cup to stake a claim and, you know, and show the senior players that, you know, there's something coming from behind.
Another one dropped into space, picking up the quick single. Yep. But this is another challenge a West Indies fan faces. You see, they will watch India, Shafali Burma, or someone playing for the under-19 side who has so much international experience. So it's almost a head start of the head start.
Yes, I mean, some players are under-19. You've given them the opportunity and they will step up. I'll come back to that in a second. Strong return, but easy single.
After 12, West Indies 66 for 5.
Yes, and that run rate just going up at the moment. So in terms of under-19, there was one, if you remember at the start of the year, the boys under-19 World Cup was held in the Caribbean, and at the end of that, one of the Indian players then made his first-class debut, and he started off with a double 100, 100, and then I think he got another double in about his third game. But he was given the opportunity after playing and impressing at under-19.
Yeah, we've seen a few stars from that World Cup do some big things afterwards. That's lofted up, won't make it to the boundary, but they'll pick up a couple here.
Yes, Dino.
Yes, good return, but safely home for 2.
No, I know it's not looking so good for the West Indies women in the wickets column, Roland, but remember that England kind of slowed up at the back end of their innings, and
Yes, team.
you
Yes,
know,
team.
could the West Indies be focusing on maybe bit of a charge as that one is cut away and will run away for a boundary.
Yeah, that's a lovely shot. Just allowing the ball to come on and struck beautifully back to backward point. That should give some more confidence to the batsman, and Henry really played that with a lot of authority.
Good pace, Dino.
70 more required for victory.
Oh yeah.
That's another lovely shot as well. I mean, the sweet sound on the bat.
Chanel Henry can bat and has shown us that many times. I guess the thing is, and you can tell me better, Roland, than I know, is about doing it consistently and doing it when it counts.
Absolutely. I mean, you can show glimpses now and again, but it's to be consistent. So often can you do it?
They need 70 runs now from 46 balls, the Windies.
Oh yeah, good.
It's tight single again, but good communication, gets home. This partnership moving along quite nicely now.
Absolutely crucial partnership from a West Indies point of view. Two seasoned campaigners out there.
Good. Well done, Glennie.
That's a big no from Chanel Henry. Not ready for that.
Yeah, a bit of coming off the pad, otherwise it would have been a wide.
Get that!
Well, it's an excellent spell from Charlie Dean. She finishes with 3 for 22. So after 13, the West Indies are 75 for 5.
Yes, and Dean's done a good job for her team, just finishing those 4 overs there and picking up those 3 vital wickets. So current rate 577. That rate's now, asking rate has gone up now to 9.57. So there needs to be some real decisive hitting by these two batsmen if West Indies are going to get near this total.
Well, Roland, you're so uniquely placed between the West Indies and England as a Barbadian, and obviously you would live more or less between the two places. What do you see in the culture of the English women's setup that maybe we lack here, that has helped them to develop generation after generation, and certainly what is an impressive young crop of players?
I think it's in England, it's a much more professional approach, you know, and it's seen as if it's a career. I think it's still in the Caribbean, certainly from a family's point of view, it's still really, you're still struggling to get over to the families that, you know, this is a viable career for their daughters. And so in England, once they've decided on that path and they've put the resources behind it, both in terms of human and financial resources, got the commitment ready from the players, and you know, they see it, and now most of them are full-time professionals, so you know, it's a good way for them to make a living.
Well, can we clear up that myth right here, right now, on this broadcast, on this day, 14th of December 2022, a wonderful way and fruitful way for a woman to make a living?
Very much so. I mean, and see the world at somebody else's expense. What an education. But yeah, the women in England, you know, they're very fortunate. Now there are, with the advent of the 100, that's also going to take their game to a different level, because it means that they're playing with other good international players.
Yep, and these youngsters would definitely be playing in the 100.
Yep, and they're suddenly playing now in front of large crowds. I mean, I went to the final of the women's 100, full house at Lord's.
Oh, that must have been amazing. How was that?
It was fantastic. I mean, it was, to see the amount of children and girls in the stadium was unbelievable.
appeal.
Yes, nice delivery, good take. Appeal for a stump in, but clearly the batter hadn't moved.
Yeah, Lauren Bell played for Southern Vipers, for Southern Brave. She's only played 2 T20Is, but like you said, she will have so much experience having been on that big stage at the 100. In fact, she's got a nickname called the Shard. Lauren the Shard Bell. I guess I just cut through like glass, huh? Like a shard of glass.
Yeah, I mean, they get very good opportunities, and even at county level, you know, where they play for their counties as well.
21-year-old from Swindon, Lauren Bell, and of course, what an opportunity here to see the West Indies and to play with this squad where there is so much experience.
So they you know, they get lots of opportunities.
Gets to open the bowling with a woman like Catherine Brunt. I mean, the learning there is immeasurable.
And that's a smart piece of stumping, but umpire remains on move and a wide call.
Can hear some sarcasm there from Lauren Winfield Hill on the stump mics, saying she's actually catching a few now. Oh, that's lofted and should be an easy, straightforward catch. It is.
Yes, just picking the one fielder out on the deep mid-wicket boundary. Struck it well, but the placement wasn't as good. And the 6th wicket goes down. 78 for 6 West Indies now.
Was going on reasonably nicely, Chanel Henry, and I wonder, Roland, if there isn't a discussion to be had around powers of concentration.
I think what really needs to happen now, I think these, it was a ball to be hit, but she struck it quite nicely, but nice safe easy catch taken there out at the deep mid wicket boundary. I'm saying easy, but
yeah, it's a long boundary to be fair.
But it wasn't that easy really at night. No catch at night is that easy. It's lots of variables you have to take into consideration, but nicely taken. But, you know, the opportunity now really for girls to play cricket in England is so vast, even at the lower levels. The structures that are in place in the local clubs, you know, to ensure their development. So when they get to this stage, you know, they've had some very good grounding.
Well, I'm sure all of us in the West Indies will be thinking the same thing, which is that we are fearful of we'll soon be losing our women and girls to English cricket, much like we may have lost quite a few of our boys and men.
Well, if one or two become of that standard, there's a very good possibility if they've got a British passport.
Opportunity knocks. Last ball of the over. It's a successful one. 78 for 6.
Yes, and 14 overs gone, and the equation now 64 off 6 overs. Getting even more difficult now.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering, we can see the quality of many of our batters and performers, our athletes. We know they understand the game situation, they've been traveling, they have the experience. So what is the difference between putting partnerships together and not? What do you think's the missing link?
Well, the reality is that, you know, girls cricket in the Caribbean, the girls don't play enough. They don't play enough cricket to develop their skills. You don't develop your skills when you get into this level. Your skills need to be developed before that. So we need to get mechanisms in place where they play more cricket, and I would also like to see them play a longer form of the game as well, so you can learn the basics of batting and the basics of bowling.
Get that, yeah, Brunty.
Catherine Brunt back, only her second over.
You know, if you come up only playing limited overs cricket, you're going to play like a limited over cricketer, which means that you're going to take risk, not calculated risk. But if you learn the game, you know, in a much more leisurely fashion, you know, then you develop those skills to adapt to the one-day game. That's nice.
Yeah,
put
that's
away.
just beautifully put away. There we are. 4 runs here, and making a little bit of a show. Shemaine Campbell.
Yes, and Campbell put that one away nicely. It's short, but still had to put it away. Kept low as well. Timing was good. And
Come on, 18.
score now goes to 82 for 6.
Just to pick back up from what you were saying, you think the longer format of the game develops the fundamentals better, does it? I mean, you would think that you would have to know fundamentals very well for the short format too.
Well, you do, but I mean, it's easier to adapt from having the basics right.
And that's fingers up, Catherine Brunt. It was only a matter of time until the wily veteran struck. And Shemaine Campbell is the victim.
Yeah, straight. Just playing across that one, full length delivery. And just being struck on the pad. So the 7th wicket goes down in over number 15. And just getting back to our conversation, yes, I mean, if you learn the basics of batting and bowling, then it's just a case of adapting. Let's have a look at this replay here. It's a foolish delivery, and I think could have been sliding down, but could have been umpire's call. But yeah, I mean, I think get the girls to play some, you know, 2-day cricket or whatever. You know, get time to bat, to learn how to bat, how to go through different stages. You know, if you only play this cricket, they're just going to be one way. You're just going to come in, and if you haven't got the skills to adapt, you will be, you know, you're going to get a lot of disappointments.
It's like languages. They need to be multilingual.
But Alex, even in the men's game, the best short form players are also the best long form players. I mean, that is, you know, you look around the world and you see where you see them.
Sure.
Ball,
Good full ball. Struck down the ground. They'll pick up 1. Need 60 runs now in 33 balls. Gajnabi, the new batter.
Yeah, nice stroke to get off the mark. Fletcher just driving that one straight back along the pitch. But I think you must learn, first of all, to bat time. And I think that when you're able to do that, then you go through many situations. And when those situations develop in games, you learn how to adapt. If you haven't had that opportunity, you know, it makes it really difficult for you. It's really guesswork. It's hit or miss. And that's not the way to play. Very well bowled once more.
Yeah, she'll make no mistake, Catherine Brunt. 1 for 12 so far. 1 more in this second over of hers. But real domination here from an English side. Stripped back, rested.
Yes, I mean, you can see the difference in the rankings of the sides. So there's really not hard to believe that, you know, England, even with a total of 141, would be able to defend it.
Just really well bowled from Brunt. Really tidy over. West Indies 83 for 7 after 15.
Yes, and requiring 59 off the last 5 overs. Going to be a tall order.
Sarah Glenn. Last over for her. Starts with a wide one. Stacey Ann King alongside me. And again, hate to sound like a broken record, but the reoccurring issues in the last 10 to 15 T20 internationals for the West Indies. Could be another chance. Danny Wyatt didn't know if to fully commit. Goes past her for a rare boundary.
Yeah, and that's a tricky one for Danny Wyatt, because it's either you commit to coming forward to take the catch, or you sit back and save 3. Nonetheless, a much needed boundary for West Indies.
I think one thing that's going to be interesting from an England perspective, let's say obviously the way that they've gone about things in the first 2 T20 internationals, more than likely, Stacey, probably going to win this series. But of course, you never know. Cricket's a funny game. But if they do win that series in the next game, I think they've got to find... I think they've got a hard decision to make, because you want to give these young players opportunities, but you've got Sophie Eccleston and Nat Silver who will be saying, well, look, a World Cup is less than 4 months away. So we want to get in, Nick. We want to score runs and get wickets as well.
Yeah, and you saw that when Catherine Brunt bowled against Janaba Joseph in her first match, that short bouncer that came off her helmet. So they aren't going to take any prisoners here. The English, they've come with a plan, and if they have to win all 8 games, they're going to do it. Also have to think about West Indies on the other end. Really, what players do they use? Because they don't have the amount of players or the bench strength that England does. So literally, they've just been rotating the same players and expecting a different result.
Good piece of innovation. That from Afi Fletcher. 2 to end the over. So end of 16 overs, 91 for 7. But in terms of where they can go in this series, I know you've mentioned it to me off air, Stacey, but Kate just made her one international debut in the 50 over format. Surely on this surface she could be a handful.
Yeah, I think that this venue has really shown up for spin, and just look at Charlie Dean picking up 3 for 22. As you see, Sophie Eccleston and Easy Wong just having a chat with some fans or family that may have made the journey.
I'm excited to see Izzy Wong. 20 years old, has a bit of pace. Hasn't got a game yet in this series. I think her time will come very soon. Catherine Brunt back into the attack.
You can just see all the experience in Catherine Brunt. Even though West Indies still need another 51 from 23 balls, she's bowling that Yorker length delivery. She did that in her previous over, and she's executing very well.
Pace off. It's a really good predicament to have for head coach John Lewis. But you think about it and you say, well, Catherine Brunt is coming to the end of her career, 37 years old. But then you look at her numbers, average less than 19 in 105 T20 internationals. You simply can't leave that out of your team. So even though you want to blood those new quicks, they've got to wait their turn.
And then you have Lauren Bell, Alice Davidson Richards, Freya Kemp. Got a number of For Davies as well, a number of quicks within this setup at present. So quite a lot to work with.
She's not happy about that one, Catherine Brandt. Almost running in from the 30-yard circle, but that rag just drops and distracts Shabika Gajnabi. She literally starting her run from the 30-yard circle.
Just wonder if this one might be a short ball.
Quite the opposite. Even someone like Anya Shrubsole, I think, if you're now getting into if you're now getting into women's cricket, I know India and Australia are dominant, Stacey and King, and we could possibly be biased seeing England up close. I find it very hard to see this team losing. And then you look around the world, South Africa are strong. New Zealand have showed after the 3-1 win here that they can produce good performances and results as well. Very quick delivery. And Afi Fletcher, sorry, it's actually Gajnabi, looking to work it into the onside leading edge, but it won't matter at this stage.
It really looked like Catherine Brandt, she missed her length with that ball. She's pretty upset with herself because she doesn't like to give away runs. Worse yet, being hit for a boundary.
That is, I think, the longest run-up I've seen. Forget women's, men's game. I have not seen anyone take a run from the 30-yard circle. She's into her third over.
I think the only person I might have seen do that is Julan Goswami. Retired earlier this year. A few months ago, actually.
Against England, that final T20 international. One international correction. Shows her consistency, Catherine Brandt. Going to that wide York and executed a couple times in that over. End of 17, 97 for 7. Shabika Gajnabi playing in this team as an out-and-out batter because she isn't bowling, but batting at number 8. So not sure what the thinking is with her. I have seen her bowl that medium pace, which I know Courtney Walsh has liked and thinks that there's potential there. But she hasn't been used, and then batting all the way down at 8, whereas she's batted at 3 in previous times in her career.
Yeah, good point there. Maybe she should have been or could have been another option for Hayley Matthews when her pacers were going over a runner ball when they were bowling. Might have made a difference because she's not express pace, but she bowls a lot of cutters as well, Shabika Gajnabi.
Freya Davies back into the attack. 1 for 6 from her 2 overs. She slapped that back down the ground, past the bowler.
Yes, Carty.
Excellent piece of fielding though. Catherine Brandt, who just bowled a long over, long run up, able to still pull out the dive and save a boundary.
Yeah, showed what she has with, or what she can do with ball. Now showing what she can do in the field, Catherine Brandt. Diving around like a teenager.
Many won't like this, Stacey, but 37 is not young compared to some of the bowlers in this England team. 21 years old, Lauren Bell. Dean is 21. Very wide, but I'm saying that to say that's impressive work from Brandt. At this age, still able to churn out consistent performances, showing that she's still in her prime and not going to be easily replaced by anyone. 100 coming up with that wide. Good piece of fielding again. Had to make a lot of ground coming to her left. I think Afi Fletcher though in this series has shown that she's capable of playing a few cameos. A couple of times she's gotten into double digits.
Yes, she has, and I think maybe West Indies can try something a bit different going into these last 3 T20s. And when I say try something different, Aliyah Allen, well, she's open. She's open the batting. I think this has been the most successful game for her in this whole entire series against England. She scored 16. But we've seen some good cameos coming down to the end.
Well, Freya Davies completely losing it. There's been a bit of a rain around last couple of days here in Barbados, a bit of dew as well. So, see that rag being utilized, just slipping out of her hand.
Yeah, just to finish what I was saying is, yeah, just maybe they need to switch things around a bit. Carry Afi Fletcher up the order. Just make some switches in between so that at least you can give other players an opportunity. Just look at this shot from Afi Fletcher. Almost swept away into the leg. Looks like they'll pick up 3 runs. Good running.
Yeah, there's been intent. There's been intent from Afi Fletcher. Just shows you her importance. Wickets with the ball, and now able to contribute with the bat in hand. Has played the ball really late, Fletcher. I think Gajnabi, though, 21 years old, one of the younger members of this team. I think greater clarity is needed in terms of what her role is. Thought they would have played her, if she's going to bat this low, as sort of that part-time bowling option, but it's been a couple of games now she's played and she hasn't bowled. Excellent awareness. Gajnabi showing her youth. Slight misfield, able to come back for 2. And a good over, good positive stuff from the West Indies. 10 runs from it. 107 for 7. It is an improvement in terms of the West Indies if they are able to bat this full quota of 20 overs. But still, nowhere close to where they'll want to be. It's going to be Davison Richards into the attack. Just bowled the 2 overs up front, 12 and conceded. Again, using the feet. Stacey, I know you played cricket with Stefani Taylor. I need you to call and find out how that rehab is going. Because that T20 World Cup is right around the corner. And we need her.
Yeah, we definitely do. Hayley Matthews, she needs some help. I think it's just been a lot of pressure on her. As possibly the only batter to really stand up. She's faltered within these 2 T20s, just trying to be a bit too pretty, I'd say. But you definitely need that batting of Stefani Taylor. Maybe some of her bowling as well, because if she's playing as an off-break bowler as well.
Good slower ball by Richards, but again, Gajnabi hitting it cleanly and coming back for 2. Good intent with the running. And just for clarity, I'm not saying that the players here are not capable. I just think that presence, having that seniority in the top order will just, I think, settle a bit of the nerves that have happened in terms of these collapses with the batting.
Yeah, because she'll bat possibly at a number 3, number 4 position, which will also bring a bit of stability towards that batting for West Indies, because they falter within that top order.
Hasn't played T20 international cricket since July of 2021, Stefanie Taylor. She's battled with injury. Did play in that New Zealand series. And in her last game got a half century, 51 not out. And then had to retire hurt because of that injury. I just keep saying it though, Stacey. That Under-19 World Cup, they are the future. It was good, I think, that they were in Antigua. At the same time the women were there. They would have had a good look at them. And I know they're working hard as well. 9 to 3 days at the Coolidge Cricket Ground, putting in the hours before that T20 World Cup next year.
I had an interview with West Indies Under-19 captain Ashmini Munasar, who, I asked her, which player does she kind of emulate her game towards? Who does she look up to?
Big shot. That is powerful from young Shabika Ghaznavi. What a strike that is, down the track and cleanly over long on.
Yeah, much needed boundary and good intent from Ghaznavi. And a good partnership between Ghaznavi and Fletcher.
One over remain, 119 for 7. I'm curious though, who did she say was that one cricketer she emulates?
Yeah, as we have a look at that strike again from Shabika Ghaznavi. Yeah, really powerful. Yeah, she said that Hayley Matthews and Stefanie Taylor, those were her 2. But Hayley Matthews stood out more to her.
Good intent being shown though. This will be something that the West Indies can take away from this game. 22 runs now from the last 2 overs. And I think Ghaznavi, who batted at 3 early on in that New Zealand series, maybe be fighting for a return. Completely deceived. One of the many skills of Lauren Bell. Getting the ball to laterally move when it's new. Able to go to the variations. And ends a good cameo from Afi Fletcher.
Yeah, Bell picks up his second. And a couple overs before, bowled a couple wide balls because she's trying to bowl those variations. Lauren Bell, this time around, just surprises Afi Fletcher. And she goes for 18 off 12.
23 from 5, not impossible, but you have to go for the runs. You never know. West Indies perspective, but Afi Fletcher looking to take the attack to England. Too many, so it brings Sherry-Ann Fraser to the middle. Left-handed, of course. I think she'll be targeting that extra cover region. Offside, looking to score, smaller side as well.
Right arm coming around to you.
As we have a look at that dismissal of Afi Fletcher. I just thought it was a pace-off delivery as well.
Looking to advance down the track. Missing out there, Fraser. Still think though, even though we've criticized the batting approach, still an improvement from that first T20 international.
A reminder, West Indies would have scored 105 for 7 in 20 overs. Now 119 for 8 with 4 deliveries. Yeah, pace off and swing and a miss from Fraser.
Well, I think after the last 2 overs, England, could have been a bit fearful. You never know. Miracles happen. The West Indies, if Fletcher remained there, couple of sixes, this game comes down pretty close. But in the scheme of things, if they win by 20 runs or thereabout, it'll be a pretty dominant win. Sherry and Fraser. Wow. Where was this from the West Indies in the first 10 overs? All the way for 6.
Yeah, again, and we're seeing what is needed from some of the top order batters happening from the lower order batters. You were saying if they win by 20, it's no wonder 20, it's 17 runs. So now an area of concern, because batters may be in the hut and thinking, if I had scored maybe 10 runs, things could have been different.
Comes down to fine margins. That went a far away though. I think may have got a bit too predictable. It'll be a learning moment for Lauren Bell. Went with variation again, and Fraser just waited on it. She smoked it over long on for 6. Wow, into the party stand.
Yeah, in West Indian style.
Comes around the wicket now and executes that Yorker extremely well. Winfield Hill also goes back. She was up under the stumps.
And it takes West Indies to 125 for 8 with just 1 ball. So again, improvement.
We need more than that though against this England team if they want to win a T20 international in this series. Victory. Victory for England. Taking a 2-0 series lead. And from the time they landed in the West Indies, the way they performed has been so incredible. Deserve immense credit for the way that Heather Knight has led this team on a return to international cricket. And now, again, in this second T20 international, getting the better of this inexperienced West Indies side by 16 runs. A convincing performance.
Yeah, very much so. Even though they made a number of changes, England, in today's match, opting for no Amy Jones, no Nat Siver, but still being able to get across the line. I think they'll be very pleased with their performance once again. England, and from a West Indies perspective, improvement.
Well, they will be a bit disappointed, the West Indies, that they were able to get close in the end. They weren't able to get over the line. So back to the drawing board for Courtney Walsh and his team. This England team, though, continue to be an example. So nice shots there of them up close. The English, they take their cricket extremely seriously.
And a nice cameo from a West Indies perspective for those young players, or those players coming in at the lower order.
I think I fully agree with you, though. You got Fletcher and Gajnabi, who on more than one occasion have proven themselves. Maybe elevate them up the order to try to change things up in that power play. I look at how the innings unfolded. 3 boundaries very early for Alia Aline. Got up to 21 from the first 2 overs. And you thought, well, this chase could well be on. But after that first wicket fell, Stacey, England just got right into their work.
Yeah, I just thought Allen just needed to calm things down after getting those boundaries. Haley Matthews and skipper followed. And then there were a couple boundaries for Rashada Williams, who not sure what to make of with that delivery.
Yeah, some intent being shown though by Ghaznabi and Fletcher towards the end, as well as Joseph before she was stumped, and Sarah Glenn outfoxing Joseph. And Charlie Dean, well, she was the stand-up with her 3 wickets. They did well against the pace, but when it was spin, they struggled, the West Indies. Chanel Henry picked out that lone fielder deep. And Captain Brandt, full and at the stumps, got results. But this partnership here, Stacey, is one that the West Indies will take a lot from. Afi Fletcher and Ghaznabi both getting starts.
Yeah, 2 maximums hits in the end. Mrs. Afi Fletcher was dismissed. Shabika Ghaznabi and Cherian Fraser, well, those 2 maximums coming courtesy those 2 players. West Indies managed 125 for 8 in their 20 overs.
Yeah, will be disappointed Haley Matthews in front of her home crowd after taking 3 wickets. She wasn't able to go big with the bat in hand. But starts for Knight, Henry and Campbell all got into the teens, 12, 13 and 15, but no one able to really kick on.
And Charlie Dean, well, really standing out with her bowling. 3 for 22 in only her second T20 international.
Charlie Dean, brilliant. 3 wickets. Sarah Bell as well. Player of the match. In that first T20 international with her 3 wickets, the way she's followed things up, even though she took a bit of tap towards the end. The degree of swing she's able to get, Stacey, I've been mightily impressed with her.
I also like her control. Because coming into your second match, you'd have that nerves, your second T20 international, you'd have some nerves, but she was just able to keep things calm and just bowl to her field. Didn't try to do anything too fancy.
Yeah, the West Indies falling 16 runs short. I'll have the presentation for you very soon, but looking to the third T20 international, which will play at this very venue on Saturday, both Saturday and Sunday, having those T20 internationals. Where did the West Indies go?
Yeah, I think there's some learnings. That 125 today, but again, just as I mentioned earlier, maybe just switching a couple of batters, switching those positions around might just help, because we saw the intent to the end when you really need to see it a bit higher or in the middle. Haley Matthews, she needs to step up as well. She needs to stand up with bat in hand. Was really good with ball. We know it's a challenge for her, but she has to. She's a quality player. She's a big time player as well, so she needs to just guide her players a bit where batting is concerned.
Well, let's go down to Alex Jordan, who's got the 2 captains and the player of the match.
The bowlers had their way out there. What did you do differently?
Yeah, I think it was just very hard to get the spinners away. Thought they bowled quite well, and the surface was a bit tricky, so just tried to stay positive, get up and down the wicket and run hard, really.
It was very good. Were you disappointed not to get your half century in the end?
No, I just tried to do as much as I can for the team, and yeah, glad that we got the win today, which is the main thing.
Yeah, really good. When you want to show off what you've got there for your player of the match. Congratulations, Sophia.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, I'd like to invite losing captain into the frame here, Haley Matthews. Haley, not your night tonight as you've come home, the first one. How would you sum up the game?
Yeah, I think we put on a pretty decent bowling performance. We would have seen that these spinners dominated. So yeah, I would have liked to have another spinner in the pocket here, but no, I think the bowlers did a good job in the beginning, and yeah, once again, just not getting enough runs with the bat. But I think it was a very spirited fight from the lower order. They really stuck up at the end and put on a good show. So that was really good to see and a positive to take out of this.
3 more T20s here in Barbados. Do you feel some little momentum coming home and maybe change of venue?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think the team spoke about the change of venue and hopefully bringing about a new spirit with it. So yeah, it was just really good to see us getting a bit closer today and a slightly better performance than we would have put on before, not only with the ball but with the bat as well. So I think the biggest thing for us is to make sure that we're moving in the right direction, and it was shown that we're doing that today.
Bold Rashada Williams. Word on that?
Yeah, Rashada had zero plans of her ever bowling in an international match, but yeah, needed another spinner out there, and she was a dodgy offie in the nets whenever we needed an extra net bowler, so just dropped the ball and kind of went for it, and yeah, she bowled pretty well. Obviously that last over, having to bowl with the restriction of 3 out was pretty tough for her, but great to see her, and good to see her get her first wicket as well.
Thank you, Hayley Matthews, and commiserations. I'd like to invite now the winning captain, Heather Knight. What a wonderful time you are having here in the Caribbean. Congratulations. How did you enjoy tonight?
Yeah, good. I think it was quite a tricky wicket actually, a little bit different to what we've been playing on. Meant we had to put away the ego a little bit and just work, problem solve a little bit whilst we were out there and try and put a good score on the board. And yeah, we tried a few things with the ball, which was good. And the West Indies actually put us under pressure tonight, which is great. It was exactly what we want. And yeah, it's just about sort of keeping that momentum going, keep doing what we're doing really well, and a few little things to improve on as well.
Well, it's great to see you back in the game. Congratulations on a win here tonight, and we'll see you again later in the week.
Lovely. See you in the next time.
Back up to you guys.
Thank you very much, Alex Jordan. And it means then that England and Heather Knight, who we just heard from, have taken a 2-0 series win. Sorry, not series win. Far from over yet. 5-match series, but they've taken a 2-0 series lead. And the way they're looking, they've been dominant and will be looking for that win. So don't go too far. In a couple days' time from sunny Bridgetown, Barbados, Saturday. We'll see you again. Short goodbye for now.